Good morning, I'm J. Lenora Bressler, and welcome to the December 2017 edition of The Bible Delight in the Details. For the next several days, we're going to be focusing on Christmas and the Christmas narrative as found in Matthew and Luke. And I want to bring to your attention some of those overlooked details that just make this Christmas story, to me, come alive in new ways. Those of you that are in my Sunday school class, you already know these things. And if you have been with us and with this program since its inception back around Thanksgiving of 2016, then you have heard this as well. But you know, these are messages, these are lessons that I think we always need to hear again and again and again, because it does bring Christmas alive in those detailed ways that I think just make it burst and pop in a way that makes it very exciting and always new and always relevant to us. Bethlehem shepherds. Why did God have the angels come and tell the Bethlehem shepherds? Several interesting things about this. The shepherds were despised people by this time. It's a sad irony, because God had lifted up the shepherding profession since the inception of the nation of Israel. The patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, were all shepherds. In fact, they were very wealthy men, and they got their wealth from shepherding. The great king, King David, was renowned as a shepherd boy. Throughout the Old Testament, when God was talking to his prophets to advise the kings how to rule, he often used the metaphor of a king being a shepherd. Shepherd my people Israel. And so it's ironic and sad and just a real negative against human nature that people that should have been revering and honoring the shepherding provision as God had so turned it around. In fact, shepherds were considered so dirty and unclean that they were not even allowed to go to the temple to worship. This is despite the fact that the sheep that had to be tended by shepherds were daily offered as sacrifices in the temple to make atonement or to cover over the sins of the people. Now, it's interesting that God would send angels, first of all, of course, to these outcasts, these people that were unjustly, unrightly despised. But it's also interesting that he didn't send them to all the shepherds. There were many, many shepherds throughout Israel, but the only sighting of angels was to those in Bethlehem. This is significant because we know from the great Jewish historian Josephus of the first century that Bethlehem was the location of the temple flock. These were the actual sheep that would have been used on behalf of the nation of Israel on a daily basis in the temple to be sacrificed. So these were kind of like the national sheep. They were raised solely for the purpose of being sacrificed. They were kept, they were the very best. They were kept completely spotless, and so that they would meet the specification of the sacrifice. So why did the angels come to them? Because, to be quite blunt with you, God was telling them that they would soon be out of a job, that he was sending it from Bethlehem itself, sending the one true perfect Lamb of God, Jesus Christ, and that eventually that one sacrifice would be the culmination and would be the ultimate sacrifice and all that would be needed. It was not that many years later, after the death and resurrection of Christ, that the temple fell in 70 A.D., fulfilling Christ's prophecy that the temple would fall and not one stone would be standing upon another. When the temple went down, you could not sacrifice anywhere other than the temple. And so Jewish people stopped sacrificing. And they don't sacrifice to this day. Jewish people now believe that it is through good works and good deeds that atonement is made, because they are not allowed, they cannot sacrifice because the temple is gone. Some of them look forward to the establishment of a new temple someday, where they hope to reinstitute the sacrificial system. But for those of us who are Christians, we understand that that is no longer necessary. There was one sacrifice that was good once and for all. It is beautiful to me that God would tell these shepherds this glorious news. And, he's a good boss, God is, and he tells you when your job is going to be changing. But he also lifted up the shepherds. Nobody balks today at being asked to play a shepherd in a nativity play. Nobody thinks that that's unworthy in any way. They're happy to do it and proud to play that role. And that is as it should be. For as that wonderful lamb that sacrificed, Jesus Christ, was to say in John chapter 10, I am the good shepherd, and I lay my life down for my flock. I'm J. Lenora Bressler. Visit me tomorrow for more Christmas on the Bible. Delight in the details. Have a great day.